Never will I ever become wealthy unless I go to university. What an absolute load of crap. The amount of people who have been successful who have not completed a degree course in university or even gone to university in the first place is phenomenal. Do universities want you to know that? No. Why not? Because universities are a business. They charge an absolute fortune for degrees that pretty much don't guarantee you any work at the end of them, which is why most people choose to go. And let's be honest, when you go to university, it might be a great party, but then you come out and you get the bill at the end. And the bill is often somewhere between £30,000 to £60,000. And that's got to be paid over the rest of the course of your natural life. So yeah, those 3 years might have been absolutely awesome, going out getting pissed and whatever else you get up to in uni these days. But actually, there's a huge bill that comes at the end of it. And as successive governments come into power, they change the rules on how you repay that so that it's becoming more and more of a commercial loan than it was, say, in the 90s and early 2000s when I eventually got round to going. Actually, I didn't get round to going until 2016. I went and did a master's, and I did it for, I think it was £1,500, which I'll talk to you about in this episode, how you can do a degree if you really want to for absolute peanuts. So what you have to understand when you want to make money, you have to have something of value to offer somebody else. And you have to be able to do that at a sufficient scale where you can make more money. So what does that mean in plain English? It means if I've got a bloody great big hole in my ceiling that's leaking water, I bet you I'm going to want a plumber and probably a tradesperson to come in and fix the hole and fix the leak, right? So there's real value there if somebody phones a 24-hour plumber and says, I've got a leak in my upstairs bathroom. It's leaking through to the living room. The cat's in the middle of a swimming pool. Can you come and fix it? When do you want me to fix it? Or is to fix it right bloody now? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Yes, I know it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, well, I can come out, but it's going to be a £200 call-out charge. And I can stop the leak, and then I can come back and fix it all properly tomorrow morning. Yeah, that's fine. Boom, £200 just for a call-out. What's the plumber going to do? Going to switch on the stopcock. That's it. Going to switch off all water supply to the property until he comes back at 8 o'clock in the morning. Why? Because the value added, I stopped the leak coming through your ceiling, and now the cat is not in a swimming pool. And then in the morning time, the plumber can either call one of his friends in the local area to go out and do the job and charge a small fee, or they can go and do that job themselves. And that's exactly what one chap did in Manchester. He was the first guy, or the first person, to put an advert in at the time it was called the Yellow Pages, this is way back when, 24-hour call-out plumber. So all the other plumbers all over Manchester are asleep. And this guy has got a 24-hour call-out on the Yellow Pages. And of course, the ceiling starts collapsing or the water comes bursting through. All he did is he answered the phone. He charged people, it was £100, as memory serves. It was a £100 call-out fee. Switched the stopcock off if it was something that was really major that he couldn't fix there and then. He said, we'll come back in the morning. And all he did is he subcontracted out the job to another plumber, and then he charged an additional £50 on top of what the plumber charged him. So we got the £100 for the call-out for literally switching off a stopcock. Then he charged an additional £50 on what the other plumber charged him. Job done. He added real value to people's lives. What he actually went on and did in the end is he went and bought a load of care homes that the council was selling off, and he made an absolute fortune from it, and he went on and did other things as well. So good for him. The point was, he didn't go to university. All he did was found a way to add value because he understood that people don't get leaks between the hours of 9 to 5. People get leaks all hours of the day in all weird and wonderful ways. So what value can you add to a customer's life that people are willing to part with their cash to give you for? For example, you say to me, I don't know any skills. I don't have any skills. I say, okay, cool. How long have you lived in the area where you're living now? And you say, most of my life, all my life. Okay, great. What sites are there that you can go and see in your area? And they say, oh, well, you've got the parks, the museums, you've got the tunnels, you've got the famous library, you've got the famous square, grade 2 listed. You can see beautiful views of this other place. I'm like, wow, do you think people would pay to see all of that stuff? And I go, well, yeah, people do all the time. So why can't you do it? Oh, well, I don't know where to start. So you don't know where to start is one problem, but can you add value is certainly not the problem. You just don't know how to start showing that value. So we cover this on other episodes within the catalogue, so you can go and have a look at our episodes on how to make money from being a tour guide. But there's lots of ways you can add value to a customer. Your job is to find out what the value is that you add, find out how to monetize it, so that means how to get you in front of the customer, and also how to get the customer to give you the money. And there's tons of ways you can do that totally free, where they take the money at the end from you, so you don't have to actually pay them any money. Eventbrite is obviously the biggest one that I talk about constantly, because it's a great platform for saying, we offer this value and you can come and partake in this value if you want, but you've got to pay X for the ticket. And then, of course, they say, yeah, the customer buys the ticket, then Eventbrite takes the cut from you at the end, and then they transfer what's left into your bank account. That's a great concept, and it's cost you not very much time at all, not very much in terms of physical money. You need a little bit of insurance if you're going to be doing tour guides, that sort of thing, but that's really not the point. Not going to uni is not a bad thing, I know that when you're in school, they sort of say, oh, you've got to do well in school, try hard, get your GCSEs, then go to college, then go to university. And they really forget about other avenues like apprenticeships, for example. I was at a college recently in where I live, a place called Wirral, and I was in a lecture theatre for 2 hours listening to the department heads in the health and social care department talk about, do our course in this college, and then you can apply to become a veterinary nurse or a nurse, or you can go and study mental health nursing in university. And I was like, right, okay, all very good, very valuable jobs, no doubt. But not once did they talk about the care apprenticeships. They didn't talk about management apprenticeships within health and social care. They didn't talk about becoming a social worker. And none of these require a university entrance. You can actually do them without going to university. And it really shocked me, because these are great ways that people can earn money very quickly. You can earn money from the age of 16 working in care. Now, who's to say you don't spend 2 years working in care, getting a bit of cash together? If you want to go to uni after that, be my guest. You've got a level 3 qualification. You've got loads of experience. Who's not going to want you on their university program? You'd be a perfect candidate. However, when you're in those environments, you can start looking at people who are in charge of stuff and start saying, how did you get there? What did you do? In university, you don't get that option, because everyone's in the same boat as you, and they're all struggling to find their way, and they're all struggling to do their courses, or maybe not struggling, but they're doing their courses. But when you're in a business, you can start talking to the owners, you can start talking to the manager and say, how did you become a manager? How did you become an owner? Nobody tells you that in uni. They don't tell you that. All they tell you is, this is the course material. And then you have to learn when you go out how to actually apply that course material in the real world. That doesn't happen when you're in work. You actually learn on the job, and you're making mistakes that your employer is paying for. Every time you make a mistake, the employer is still paying you a wage or a salary, depending on the type of job you're doing. So you're getting paid to make mistakes and learn on the job. That's pretty much an apprenticeship. But sometimes you don't get an apprenticeship in certain occupations, and that's okay. But you can start to gather your knowledge, your expertise that you can offer other people. So if I use care as an example, there are more what we call PAs, personal assistants now, who are available from the care industry than there has ever been before. And what a PA does is they literally just work for one individual who needs care. And it might be agreed with that individual that they are going to get £700 a week for working 50 hours or 60 hours, something like that. So there's a lot of hours involved, but there's also a lot of pay involved as well. And you can then take that experience and say, actually, do you know what? Maybe I'm going to become regulated. Maybe I'm going to set up my own care business. Who's to say that you can't do that? I've certainly done that in the past Me and my now wife, we have gone away. She worked as a carer. I worked in health and safety, and we sat down together and she said to me, shall we go to bed? I said, actually, no, I'm thinking about setting up this care company. I want to explore it a bit more. And she was, absolutely not. And off she totters off to bed. And I start Googling how to do it. And by the time the morning came, here's me applied to become a care company with the Care Quality Commission, sent off the application, got the business name, applied for a lease for the company, started building a website. And that was within 24 hours, right? My missus was not a happy camper. And now, fast forward nearly 5 years from when we started that little journey, we have a really successful care business, and we have quite a large number of staff, nearly 100 staff now. And we have managers. We have all of this stuff in place, all from one little idea. Did that require me to go to university? No, it did not. Did it require my wife to go to university? No, it did not. My wife was a carer. I worked in health and safety. How this all happened is a crazy story, which I'm going to be sharing on our live events. So look out for tickets on the live events when they come available. I'll be telling you the entire story for that. But my point here, ladies and gents, you don't need to go to university to start earning real income. And what I mean by real income is, not your 20, 30, 40,000 pound pay brackets, but actually becoming financially successful, financially wealthy, financially free, whatever you want to call it. Buying properties. Buying properties is something that we have done now since 2022, and that's been wonderful. You buy property. We buy to keep is our strategy. We buy to rent out. And every 5 years, the property prices tend to go up. It doesn't guarantee they go up, of course, but they do tend to go up. And then we can refinance and take some more of our money out of that property. And all the while, the rent is still coming in from those properties' income. So there's lots of different things you can do that don't require attendance at university. So don't be disheartened if somebody says to you, oh, you've got to go to university, and you're like, I really don't want to go. You don't have to. There's multiple options available. So I hope that's been very useful for you. There's lots of links below where you can go and watch further ideas on how to generate income using the lazy wealth creation formulas. I hope you find those enjoyable. Like, link, subscribe, and let us know in the comments below what you've done to gain your wealth these last few months.